I'm going to share with you the three biggest signs that will tell you you are a highly sensitive parent. But before we go there, who am I to talk about this? Hello, my name is Marcela Collier. I'm a certified parenting coach and founder of HIC Parenting Education Agency. My team of coaches and I have served 14,151 parents of sensitive kids and neurodivergent kids, bring peace to their parenting and raise emotionally healthy children. And I am diagnosed with autism, ADHD, and anxiety disorder, and I'm raising a child on the spectrum and a strong willed child, highly sensitive as well. So, yes, I have personal experience and professional experience to talk about these signs. Number one, you were a highly sensitive child. How do you know you were a highly sensitive child? Well, maybe you were labeled as dramatic. Maybe you were labeled as picky. Maybe you were labeled as aggressive. Maybe you were labeled as lazy. When you are labeled as dramatic, possibly you had sensory needs or you had anxiety and things that other kids that were easy for other kids were not easy for you. So that's why you were labeled that way. Same thing when you were labeled as lazy. Maybe you feel nervous, let's just say, about doing that presentation in the school and you didn't turn in your homework, you didn't do the presentation, and you were labeled as lazy because you were nervous. Or maybe you have a lot of needs in terms of task management and time management, and you didn't clean your room because it felt daunting, overwhelming, you didn't know where to start, and you were labeled as lazy, as somebody who doesn't take responsibility. Those are signs that you were a highly sensitive child, and now you are a highly sensitive parent that might be struggling with similar things but in the parenting world. So when it comes to dramatic, maybe you were finding things that are not necessarily hard for other parents and they're hard for you. Let me give you an example of it. For me, going to the library, to the store, to the playground, it's a big task and I almost have to mentally prepare to go there. That's why I don't take my twins a lot to the playground. My husband does that job for me because the noises, the crowd, the being outside is too much for my senses, having autism. If you were a highly sensitive child, you are likely to be a highly sensitive parent. Number two, you get annoyed easily or for very specific things, for things that you're like, but my kids are just being kids. I mean, they're loud because they're kids. Logically, it makes sense to you, but it's you still feel annoyed by all the noise and the kids running around and the kids pulling on your shirt and the kids pulling on your hair and them whining, and you try to logic with yourself or like, why are you feeling this way, Marcela? Get it together. It's just a kid struggling with not being able to eat ice cream at the moment. You kind of gaslight yourself and dismiss your own feelings when it's really your sensitivities. Parents who get easily annoyed by their kids' behaviors, their loudness, they're running around, they're running in circles around you, are usually parents who have sensory needs. So it makes sense to me why you feel annoyed. Not because you're a bad parent. That's another story that we tell ourselves. If I feel annoyed by my kid, then that means I'm not a good parent because good parents don't feel annoyed by their kids. I remember I was at church. It was a while ago. The kids were in summer break, and it was kind of the end of summer break. They were, back to school season was around the corner. And then I asked one of the moms that I saw there, "Aren't you ready that they're going back to school? Because I'm so ready." And then she looked at me and then she said, "No, they don't bother me. I feel fine. I'm gonna miss them." And I felt so guilty because I couldn't wait for my kids to go back to school. I miss them a lot and I like being around them, but not too long, for not 24/7. I give thanks to Jesus, to the Lord, to to God that they go to school. And no, if homeschooling is for you, it's great. But if it is not for you and you have homeschooling parents trying to put shame on you because you're not homeschooling your kids, like you're so selfish. You're sending your kids to school because you need that time. Don't feel bad about it. I shouldn't tell you how to feel, but yeah, I don't want to tell you about how to feel. But what I'm trying to say is that nobody knows nobody's needs. If anything, they're just judging you. They're judging you based on things that they don't know about you. They don't know your needs. They don't know your window of tolerance. They have a different, maybe they have a very supportive spouse that shares tasks with them, and that's why they are not so over burnt out by watching their kids. And you don't have a supportive spouse, or you're a single parent, and on top of that you're a highly sensitive parent. So we cannot compare. If you send your kids to school because part of it is you need it, it's okay. Number three sign that you are a highly sensitive parent is that if you find some things harder than other parents. And I'm not just talking about going places, what I talked about before, like when it comes to very specific things that your child may do or may not do, that like puts you to reactivity. For example, let's just say that you grew up in a yelling environment. And it got, when that yelling environment escalated, your parents became really scary towards each other. Let's just say that you saw your father, yeah, doing very scary things to your mom. I don't want to say what those things are because of community guidelines here. But just imagine that. And now that you have two kids, a boy and a girl, the boy, let's just say, is older than the little girl, and then you see the imbalance of power, and then you see, the he's a boy and she's a girl, and then you see him being aggressive towards the girl. That could send you right to those emotional memories of witnessing your parents in that very situation. And you could end up reacting in a very disproportionate way towards your son, not because you really think he needs that reaction, but because it moved something in your subconscious mind that took you there to project your the now things that you see, and compare it to the past. And this is a subconscious process that parents sometimes live. And we help parents in parenting coaching unveil what the subconscious patterns are so they don't affect their interaction with their kids. Parenting coaching is doesn't heal you. You go to therapy for that, but people find it really healing. One of them is Bo, and when I want to show you her story. Change I've seen is just being able to heal the inner child, because I think that's where a majority of the issues were rooted in, was just like my inner child wasn't healed, and I was working off of narratives that I believe were true, and that's not the case. And so just being able to work in the parent centric portion of it more is helping me see things clearly for what they are and not the narrative that I grew up in, and also be more confident in what I'm doing. Do you want to feel more at peace raising your highly sensitive children, your neurodivergent children, and not pass down to them the dynamics that you felt and saw growing up? I have a free class for you where I'm going to share with you the system to break free from reactivity so you can raise emotionally healthy children from accountability and peace. You can find this free class on hicparenting.com. I'm going to leave a card here or in the description below. Let's recap the three signs that you are a sensitive parent. Number one, you were a highly sensitive child. Number two, you get bothered easily by things that you know are age appropriate, or is boys being boys or kids being kids, girls being girls. And number three, When you find some things harder and very specific things harder, and you don't know why you keep reacting out of anger or out of proportion when you see a very specific interaction between your children. The idea is not for us to toughen up and not be sensitive parents. I'm a sensitive person because I have autism, ADHD, sensory needs, some trauma. And it's not about me toughening up, it's about understanding my needs. So, from that understanding, I could show up differently and the way I want to show up for my kids. That's my encouragement for you. Let me know in the comments, are you, based on these three signs, are you a highly sensitive parent? Let me know if it is a yes, if it is a no, your thoughts, what you think about the things that we talked about in this video. And if this video helped you, would you share it with a friend, with your spouse? Just click the share button, send it to them, maybe on WhatsApp, maybe on a text. Tell them, hey, this video helped me. Um, and then if it's your spouse, this video helped me. I hope you watch it so you can understand me better. I send my spouse a lot of the times videos about autistic adults, signs and stuff, so he gets to understand me better. Do it. Or if you know that you have a friend who is sensitive, send it to them, and they will find encouragement. And subscribe to my channel if you have not done so. If this is the second or third time you watch one of my videos, that's the sign. That means that you're liking it. That means that you're getting value. And remember that it only takes understanding of yourself and of your children's needs to transform your parenting. That's Parenting with Understanding. I'll see you next time. Bye.